evening, all my little buns. Daisy here with you tonight, and I have a simple topic to talk about this evening. And well, you're looking at it, fursuiting in general. Now, fursuiting is not for everyone. I definitely understand that. I'm happy that I'm able to physically do it. Not everybody is, and please make sure to respect people that don't have the ability to deal with the heat. This is a big issue. Not everybody can do what everyone else can do. Not everybody can put a 50-pound plush fursuit and go out in 90 to 120 degree Texas weather and hang outside and not die of heat exhaustion. Okay? Be nice. We're not all monster machines. Many of us are limited in that fashion. I'm not saying I'm super limited, but I'm definitely not that 120 degrees in a 50-pound plush suit out in the middle of Texas in the middle of summer. I'm not a masochist. Now, there are options. There's always options. Now, I'm not going to tell anyone how to have fun. One of the options I've seen a lot of lately has been called poodling, where you just kind of wear hands and your head and a tail and have skin hanging out all over the place. I don't personally enjoy that as a thing to do, but if that's what you're doing, and if you can pull it off, and I've seen people pulling it off to the way where like I don't even think about the fact that they had some skin hanging out because the character was being too much in my face. And that's good. So that's one option. Another option is partialing. Now this means not just poodling, but covering up the rest of you that isn't in fursuit. Okay, for instance, let's say you have hands, feet, a tail, and a head. That's it. Well, easy way to deal with this. Hands covers down to your legs. If your feet show a little bit, an angle slips out when you're doing something, that's not the end of the world. Long sleeve shirt or jacket or hoodie or something. Again, if something happens at some point and a tiny bit of you shows, the world doesn't end. And of course, head, just make sure your neck of your shirt is all the way up to the neck of your head. But that way you can easily partial without having to have too much extra equipment. And a long sleeve t-shirt or a light hoodie, a pair of, say, light slacks type pants, say like khakis or something that breathes well, you'll probably feel okay out in most heat. Your head's going to get sweaty because you basically have a sweat sock jammed up on your head that's wrapped in foam and fur, so it does get warm. No matter what you're going to do, you're going to sweat up there. Learn to deal. That can't go away. Otherwise, you've stopped fursuiting. At that point, it's done. It's no longer fursuiting. Even that, though, there are some options. Say a furry hood type situation with a prosthetic face piece and maybe some makeup that blends you in with everything else. That's a way to go. Some people have done that. I've seen that to good or ill effect. Sometimes if the hood part doesn't really seem to blend into the prosthesis part, it almost looks off-putting to me. But I mean, again, I'm not going to judge anyone's specific costumes. I'm not even going to remotely pull up anyone's IDs or anything to say, I don't like how that guy's head looked. It looked bad. Because I don't want to discourage anyone from having fun. Personal opinion there. Not trying to force anyone to comply with my desires. But it is an option if you find that a way to express your character. That's an option. Use your own eyes fursuits are another option, which does add a little bit more aeration to some of your face, your eye nubs, and usually those have a more open mouth areas as well. So that can be good if you're having a restrictive situation. Usually, though, you do need to put some dark makeup around and on your eyes so you blend in with everything. So that's another factor. It's a consumable you're going to have with you. And anyone's worn makeup for an extended period of time understands that also gets hot too and kind of tacky and sticky if you've been wearing it for too long. So that's a thing to put into consideration. Again, telling you how to have fun. Same thing with the prosthesis type situation. The makeup does also cause heat, and a mask might actually be less heat for you than having the makeup on, which is an interesting concept, but actually can be true, depending on you and depending on how you react to certain things. Don't take me as the only answers here. I'm just offering options. Now, there is a ton of variants of partialing, such as sleeves, part sleeves, full sleeves, sleeves that go up to your chest. What I'm wearing right now is what I call a muffin top with daisy, which is sleeves and kind of a little shirt bit that goes down to just over the top of my muffins. So you have an option of partially covering up the person. If, say, you want to wear a dress that doesn't go all the way to your chin. I have quite a few outfits like this, and it does give me the options. It doesn't add too much extra heat to have that on my body as opposed to nothing at all. So it's just kind of like having a pair of sleeves and uh, just a bit of a chest warmer, as it were. uh, and partials can be at any range of your body covered. You can have part of the chest, all the way down to your belly in fur. Pants portions can be, ankles, knees, thighs, hips, up to being like a full pair of pants, but you say you didn't want to have the top there because you wear shirts with them. So you're a shirts kind of person, so all you need is pants and sleeves. If that's what you need, that's what you need. And if that helps you be able to costume and have fun better, do that. I'd rather people have fun than be following all the shattered rules and being a perfect little fursuiter. So that's an option. Pretty much every fursuit I have does have at least the option of being a full suit, save for one. Nick Wilde is just a partial, and he's shared between me and my husband. He's like the only partial I think we own that's naturally just a partial. Everything else is normally a full body costume. That being said, the more costume you have, the harder it is to find any clothing that you can put on top of it, because depending on how big you are, your costume can add either like 2 pant sizes or 2 dress sizes onto you, depending on how fluffy they are. This can get complicated. Anytime I can, if I'm wearing a dress, I try and wear a partial option, because what's the point of wearing all of the costume if no one's going to see an inch of it? So right now, yes, I'm wearing my partial option because I'm wearing a wedding dress that goes down past my feet. I'm wearing the feet, though, just in case those were to slip out. Then you would see feet, not, human toots or slippers or shoes or whatever I happen to be wearing. So there's that. So many different kinds of hand options out there depending on your character. Digigrade options for your body so that it looks like you have animal legs as opposed to just straight legs. Again, everything you add to a costume adds to the amount of wear on your body it has and the amount of heat that it's going to generate. Think about it. Straight pair of legs, all you have on you is a layer of fur. Digi legs, you have a bubbled out piece of fur with a hunk of foam in it. What is foam? Insulation. It's usually strapped to something like either it's attached into the limb itself or it's attached to a piece of Under Armour type clothing. So now you have another layer of clothes on you under the fursuit, holding these lumps of foam in place over this bigger bag of fabric, which is then going to make you slightly warmer. I'm not opposed to them, but just be aware what you're putting yourself into. I own a couple of Digigrade suits. My goat has the Under Armour style um, pants that go underneath to add her Digigrade. My Husky Susser has the pads are just kind of slipped into pocket sections on the legs of the fursuit, so they aren't attached to me, but they're still there and add more depth and does add more heat. Mewtwo has specifically got pockets that are stuffed with polyfill in his hips, like in the front of his thighs and the back of his ankles. So he has built-in digigrading. This adds something you have to take out whenever you do wash him, which does get interesting. I'll say that. You got to find some way to unpack all that polyfill, stick it somewhere, wash him, and then stick it all back in after he dries. So keep that in mind. This is an extra step. I love you too. I will not stop wearing him because of this. I'm just letting you know this is a thing that exists. And different levels of fur does make different heat results. Daisy is short pile, but she's really dense short pile, so she is warmer than Caddy, who has a lot less dense short pile fur. Bursty's a little in between the two. She's a little denser than Caddy, but not as dense as Daisy. But also, airflow through the mouth and whatnot does make a difference too. Bursty has super crazy airflow in the mouth because of the way her movable jaw is. It's not great for moving. That's its own level of problem with most fursuit heads. But like me talking like to make the mouth even move, which makes it hard to actually talk. But she has a good open mouth, so a lot of extra airflow. There's a lot of factors here to make a fursuit choice, and fursuiting a choice per daily basis. If you have the warm weather, definitely try to put on as little as possible with showing like you have as much as possible. Wearing one of my dresses actually is a lot cooler than wearing a full fursuit for me because I have this giant bubble of air around me, and if I end up in air conditioning, that soaks up a big bubble of that cool air, and it takes a while for it to degrade. So keep all that in mind. And there's a lot of ways you can express yourself in a fursuit that you can't do as easily with not being in a fursuit. And the more that's covered up of you, for most people, adds to your ability to be different without having to feel the stigma of knowing someone can see you. Such as Daisy here out in public. No one sees any of me, so I can feel like a pretty girl without anyone noticing that I'm, grumbly looking guy. That's an important part. Being a character where you feel like you can express yourself. Not telling you again what to do, but there's a certain level of what you may feel if you are partially exposed. Even just your eyes, and you use your own eyes costume, you may feel exposed comparatively. You may not. I'm not you. This is for your own psyche to deal with. Again, just adding opinions of how I feel in these situations. Similar with prosthetic options, with or without any extra accoutrements. You're still, some of you is visible, and some of your emotion does come out through, a lot of your emotion comes through your eyes and the areas around your eyes. So people can see when you're scared, worried, or nervous, whereas when there's a big plastic circle over your face that looks like it's a happy eyeball, no one sees the nervous, they just see the happy character. So if you have problems with self-expression out in public, making yourself fully enclosed does help alleviate that. Well, and of course, gender is your toy at that point. Once you're in a full costume, be whatevs, yo. If you want to be a purple hermaphrodite skunk, you do you. You want to be a big, gruff, gray Wolverine with muscles that look like you had a 20-pack down your front. I don't know what. I don't know muscles, Mike. I'm dumb bunny doesn't know about exercise. Fine, have a 20-pack. You want to be a beautiful vixen with huge tracts of land. Well, all you. Uh, I still don't get boobs, so that's totally you. Uh, but yeah, whatever you want. A costume, you can be whatever you want. Totes Zootopia there, except for smaller. There is actually limits on how much you can compress yourself. And that does bring up another one. Corsets. They're fun and all, and I do love them myself, but be very careful when wearing something like that when you're using it as a restrictive item if you're going out in a lot of heat. This does, however, slightly limit your air intake capabilities. And if you're already having problems because of the heat, adding a reduced airflow can cause you more problems. So be aware of your limitations. If you want to test the waters and try it, cool. I have myself. I have put on a corset and worn it out in public with fursuit. With full suit on. That was a little harder. I did it with partial with Daisy and my Cinderella dress the first year I wore that at Anthropon. I was perfectly fine because it was just the dress and the muffin top, not a full suit. So be aware if you need to wear a corset to wear a full suit. Be aware of your oxygen needs, your air needs. Do not pass out for pretty. Not worth it. And be aware of how active you are in general. It can get into an easy trap of wanting to be super active when you're out in public. Aware of your physical limitations because your body will tell you sometimes in a more abrupt fashion when you're in a fursuit. Hey, I'm tired and hot right now. You just did stupid. I wasn't ready for that. And if you haven't practiced and worked out in the heat, in your fursuit, you might not know what you're actually limited to. So be aware of that. Anyway, I've babbled on enough about fursuiting for the night. Definitely want to thank all my bunnies for watching, and hope you took a little something away from that hopefully help you if you want to be a fursuiter, if you already are one and you're having option ideas. And well, that's what I'm here for, to help make your day a little easier. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe with some of your experience in fursuiting, good, bad, or other things that you've tried or not tried and want to try. In the comments, I'd love to hear your situations. That would actually help me too, and help everyone else that might want to read the comments. So there's an idea for you. You got a thing to put in the comments that, well, there's your idea to talk about. And the Patreon link is in the description in case you're so inclined. Every penny helps my my channel, and I appreciate everything anyone gives. And for my little sissy puppy who's probably still watching to the end, thank you, Trajan. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end of the video. And I hope you're behaving like a good little poodle puppy should. Alright, and well, good night, everybody, and hope you all have a lovely rest of your night.